I'm here to look at the CostBenefitCom Calc Finance Edition, and what we have here is a series of functions that you'll see. We can do anything that has to do with future and present value, and this current version is just focused around some of the things that a finance student or a person who uses financial applications all the time would probably be more interested in. And it also has some capital budgeting related finance components at the bottom, as well as some stock related calculations. Just a second, I'm gonna move this here. And so what you're seeing here is a list of all the functions. We can do annuities, the future values. We can do it with compounding. We can do just the interest factor, so you don't have to look under a table. You can do the present values of interest factors, annuities, and we can perpetuities, and we just have some basic things for risks. You can assess and compare the risk across different items. Basically, these are more calculation oriented, but you can use it to look at two items separately and just compare values like that. And we even include things like bond present value, premium over a bond. That's a multi-step process, but it's pretty straightforward in our tool. And if you know how to use the function, then you don't have a problem having to learn the calculator again. That's what one of the great advantages of our product is. We also even have this supernormal growth stock valuation. And what's cool about that is that again is a multi-step process. And also like the weighted average cost of capital. Let's take a look at that. So in this scenario, we have what's known as common equity, and we have a common stock with these retained earnings. They have a target capital structure which is made of 55% common equity, and we've broken that up so you can see that, and what the components are of that common equity, and the percentage of debt, percentage of stock. Very straightforward. Okay. After-tax cost of debt. You just can enter in that after-tax cost right there. And if you don't know that, we even have a calculate. One of the formulas that you can choose from on that list I just showed you is we can calculate what the after-tax cost of debt is. And we do the cost of preferred stock, the cost of retained earnings, and we can use those factors to come up with the weighted average cost of capital. So all you have to understand is how, for any corporation that you're analyzing, all you have to do is understand what that target capital structure is. Enter it in here, come up with the cost of those components, which are usually pretty well known, and instantly you'll come up with the weighted average cost of capital. Let's go back to the menu again. Like I said, you can find the cost of debt after tax. So, very simple calculation where we do the cost of debt before taxes, and then we look at the tax rate, and then we figure out what the cost of that debt is, after tax cost of debt. The reason that, for those non-financial people, the reason that's the case is that the government gives us a tax benefit, so we have to factor into what that tax rate is to really figure out what the cost of that debt is. Effective interest rate, what does that really mean when they give you a 24% year, when then it's 24% a year, and they're nominally quoting that, and you know that it's going to be compounded every month, for example. And you can even come up with so many specialized options that you may be looking at, like what if I did it 7 times a year? And it's just a matter of just changing the value to 7, and you get a new calculation. Let's look at a present value of annuity. Right? We know that annuity is a stream of payments. And not only do we show you, we give you the 3 options, we also let you see how those cash flows go and what the present values of those cash flows will be at that time. So, let's say if I'm getting an annuity of $1,000 annually. Again, you see, this is very intuitive. If you understand what an annuity is, you put in a discount rate, let's say of 9%, And then you make your term, let's say it's a 10-year term, and you'll calculate a new figure on that, $6,417.66. What about interest factors? Occasionally you may want an interest factor. In this case, let's say we have 7% discount rate, and we want to know what is the value after 10 years. And we get 0.62275. You even get sometimes an extra set of significant digits for really doing a really in-depth calculation. And this is just great for students because they don't have to sit and learn a calculator. It's good to learn the HP12C, for example, but you don't have to know that. I forget how to use that thing after so many years. I forget what some of these things mean, or what needs to go into those decisions, and it's easy. Let's take a look at, let's say, one of my favorites. Let's say yield to maturity. We know that can be a little complicated to calculate. But right here, and even using the spreadsheet formulas, they just do not say in a clear manner what yield to maturity, those factors really mean when you place those into the cell in that formula. But we know that yield to maturity is just taking a look and trying to meet what rate is going to meet a certain amount of cash flows, just like an internal rate of return calculation. And if you don't understand all these terms, that's fine, because this tool is designed just for, you can use just what parts that you understand. And that is very error prone when you have to insert each cash flow yourself into a calculator. And of course, one of my favorites is that we always have these, often have just miscellaneous cash flows that we need to analyze. Okay? And we can put in any cash flows we want, and it will calculate what the present value in this case is, all the way up to the number of years that we've established as the economic life of the term in years. We can go all the way to 50 years in these things. So you can analyze, you can make an analysis over a 50-year period. And that's just what's to come in this software. Very powerful. You're not sitting there, less error prone. And it's just a powerful tool, and I ask you to check it out. With all our products, we give them a guarantee of satisfaction. And check us out at CostBenefitCom for all of our products. Thank you.